Okay, so this is the second part of this dichotomy, this dualism that I started to describe in the first one. So the first one was like, the idea of an objective reality that is to be discovered. So, the idea that the relationship between the player and the GM and the world is that, they can rely on the foundation that is there is an objective reality out there, and the player, what's relevant here is that the player don't get to propose it. They don't get to create anything about it, and they don't get to invent people and places and events and stuff. And it's like if they want to interact with it, they're gonna have to utilize their skills, and it's gonna depend mostly on how the GM is gonna tell them how the objective reality is corresponding to what they want, right? And so otherwise it doesn't work, because if you don't do that, the player are gonna be creating a reality, and it's becoming subjective to the player. It's not that objective world to be discovered. And so the other way around, this what I call a narrated reality to be created, is that there is no objective world a priori of what is being said. And so what it goes is this approach, which can work with D&D, it can work with Call of Cthulhu, it can work with DCC if you want to. You're gonna, you can do it. It's not that hard. It's the same, but it's you're gonna have you're gonna have exploration, but it's gonna be the exploration of what we all have to say about what's going on. So this is the difference here. So how it goes is that we all agree upon that there is no plot already designed, already written. There is no objective reality. Like we go places. It's not that we are in a matrix of a virtual world. We go places, but these places, there's a lot of wind. I'm sorry, I don't want to mess it around. We go places, but the places we go, we utilize our skills as characters, as players, to go about it, not go around it. We go about it. So what we do is that you say, I want to do this and that, and then you utilize your skill, and then you create that world out there. And so if you achieve what you want, you get to say as a player. But if you fail, you get to receive a response from the GM, who has now the responsibility to contribute as a reaction to the player failure of providing the world, the description, and the narration. And what makes the difference here is the dice. So it's the same. It's the same in the other way around. It's just that in the objective reality, if you fail or you succeed, you still rely on the GM response, because otherwise you create that objective reality, and it doesn't work. Because if you start creating it around, then it's not to be discovered anymore. And so it becomes really, really, really tricky. And then so you kind of always gonna have to rely on the GM answer to the result of the dice. In the narrated reality to be created, the player creates it utilizing their skills to create information, to call upon people, to find clues and find stuff out there, to search and observe and then realize. And so they create, so they made up stuff based on how good they can roll, so how good their character is to perceive that thing, know that thing, engage that thing. You know what I'm saying? So now here, in this kind of game, obviously you have the end of the spectrum, you know, where it's like all the like the story games and all that. So you have the GM-less games and stuff like that. That's what they do. But it's doable as well in an investigation game, like and that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm doing, you know, I've been working for a couple of years on that, on designing a game, which is a whodunit murder and you know, an investigation game that has no objective reality a priori. Do you understand what I just said? It's like, okay, so the game is about finding who done a murder, but nobody knows in advance. It doesn't exist already. We play to create it. So this is exactly what I'm saying here. This style of play, you take DCC, you take Call of Duty, you take Dungeons and Dragons, doesn't matter. You get to the table, and the conversation is, you know, like I'm going around the jungle, you know, to get some mushrooms and kill some spiders, to create some poison, and then you roll the appropriate skill to do whatever you want to do. If you have it, you get to do it. You get to describe the way you go, the way you do it, and everything. And so, but if you fail, the GM tells you, you know, how it goes. So there's a lot of so the distinction here is really just that when you finish a game in a narrated reality to be created, is that you look back and you're like, that was nice, you know, the way I never saw that coming. And then in an objective reality, when you look back, you have a little bit of that as well, obviously, because this is how history is. You know, you go back to what has been done and you can talk about it. But it's like, I never thought that you do it that way to the GM, or, you know, I really thought that this guy was not that guy, because the GM plotted everything, or the module. So, you got me there, like that. That's a nice twist, GM. But in the other one, you don't do that. In the other one, it's everyone together. It's like, oh my god, man, you twisted that at this moment, but you can't say that to the player next to you, or the GM, if it happens that you fail so much that he ends up doing the twist. And so the first one is really prep based. There might be, you know, you see the distinction, there might be some variation upon the amount of improv. At some point there would be, like for example, when you don't have a module and you need to react to what the players do as a GM, you know, portraying that objective reality that is to be discovered. But in the other one is all improv. Now, let's make a graduation, like a spectrum as well on this side. So the most abstract, it's pure improv. You know, the one with there's absolutely nothing, no prep, no nothing. Now, let's say you want to play that style, but you want to prep a little, right? I play in Feed with Colin Cruikshank. I put it on the back burner now because I'm too busy with some politics shit going on in Trois-Rivières where I live. But so this game, he's a prepper because, you know, he has that anxiety a little bit. He wants to control a little bit, you know. But we agree in the social contract that as a player, you know, I really don't care about his prep. I'm just gonna create stuff myself as well, and I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna do my thing. Otherwise, I'm not gonna have fun. I'm not gonna ask him questions. I'm not gonna ask him permission and all that, because I don't want to be discovering his objective reality. I want our reality to be created together. You know what I'm saying? So now, when he's gonna be the GM, because we're gonna share duty. So when he's gonna be me, I'm never gonna prep. So I'm gonna bring to the game, I'm gonna improv. This is a style I prefer. This is just a matter of taste. But when I play with him, he's prepping a little. It doesn't matter. So he can bring his prep to it. So if he has idea with stuff, like he wants this guy to do a little bit of this and think that this guy is gonna have this plot there and all that, and he send me a letter and stuff like that, well, it still rely on me to adjudicate and accept and confirm that still this is the way I want to go about it. So I can just answer. I can just not answer the letter and do something else. I can just and I'm not saying that you cannot do that in the other style as well. I'm just saying that, you know, even in a completely narrated reality to be created together, the GM can still come up with a prep. You know, so you meet up on the other spectrum. Now, let's say you want to go extreme and play module style that way, which is completely contradictory. It's gonna be now you're just gonna hurt yourself, and it's gonna be complicated. It's gonna be it's you know, it's gonna be almost impossible, which I you know, but it's still you can do it a little bit. For example, you are in a room and the book doesn't say anything about, you know, about any cultural information. It just says that you get into a room, there's some hieroglyphs on the walls, for example, and but it doesn't say anything. It's just aesthetic, it's just fluff. And your player comes in and say, hey, I want these hieroglyphs to say that. So I'm saying my intention is to read these hieroglyphs and say that they mention this and this and that. And so you roll and you succeed, and then you get to say it. And now it's canon, it's part of the game. You know, so you're in a module game. There is an objective reality that is brought forth by the module, by the GM. But you still, as a character, get to create what's written in the hieroglyph there, either to add just aesthetically, or to get some more information about the culture of this temple you're in, for some example. Or if you want to twist it a little bit as the player and bring some interesting clue for everybody else to use, either the GM or the other player. So this is the distinction here. So you know, and this in culture of play and in style of play is creates a big distinction, because it's some people just, it breaks their fun when there is a player to create an objective reality. You know, I know it does to Ivan. I remember in the past Ivan Gutnag had some issue a little bit with that as well, and I completely get it. It's like you're around here. Your imagination is framed that way. You want to be in some kind of a virtual environment, you know, in your head, where there is stuff out there, you know, objective reality. So and my fun is to discover that, and I want a GM to tell me what I see, right? And I totally get that. I totally get that. And then if you have in the next group, sitting next to him in the same group, someone who just invent stuff and rely on the success of the dice to give them legitimacy, and it's just gonna be hard for the guy next to him that's like, you're my fellow players. Like, they still see in an objective reality, it's like the GM has some kind of a veto. And it's important, it's relevant that the GM has that veto, because there is an objective reality to be discovered. On the other side, nobody has that veto, and this is the reason. This is what makes the difference. You will because if you are super extreme, you play no GM. So it's just players, a bunch of players making up stuff together and utilizing a system to get to legitimize what they say. But you can still have a GM that has a certain veto, where he's gonna be more referring on the rules. So you have to have, you know, players are saying stuff. They get the legitimacy from the dice result and the mechanic, but still the GM sometimes needs to interject some stuff because they're stuck and nobody's having any ideas and it's just boring, and then the GM goes just drop something. Either the GM gets to make a tough decision on rules, because sometimes people just don't know exactly how to do it, and GM just say, you know, I'm the one who's gonna tell you we're gonna go that way about that rule, you know, stuff like that. So it's, you know, so there is with the GM based game, the GM can still have that role. you don't have to be just no GM or story game to do so. All right, so these two approaches for me open up, and this was crazy when I was discussing with these guys. When we were playing, we were prepping for Circle events. We saw like how far some of us are from each other, like how far we don't. It's just a matter of taste, it's just a matter of taste. And it was like, oh shit, is it possible to make it work? And how can we make it work? And everything is possible. It's just lots of work and lots of patience, lots of sacrifice of certain kind of way and certain kind of play. But it's doable. Now, what I'm saying is that after these interactions with them and realizing this stuff together, where I was like, this opened up a whole new way of theorizing and bring forth concepts like modern AI and perception roles and persuasion roles and charm roles and all that. It's like, okay, so now if there's an objective reality out there and I'm doing a persuasion, for example, well, if I succeed and I'm in a narrated, let's say for example I'm in a narrated, if I'm in an objective reality to be discovered and I want to persuade a guy as a player and I succeed, and my persuasion intention in my narration as a player kind of mess up with all the story in the back, what do we do? Because my role changed the objective world. So is the GM gonna fiat me and pretend that my role worked and keep up with the same stuff, without me knowing, because I don't know the objective reality, or all the issue that can come in, or he agree upon changing that objective reality according to my role. And so that sometimes can be really problematic for people who think that this is a fun breaker. And so it creates all these new ideas and distinctions that are super complicated. So I'm gonna try to tackle them a little if I have some time, but it's hardcore. It's really because it brings like, okay, so if we start to think about this hobby in these two ways, which I think is really relevant, just to bring forth these issues, we can find a way to clean up a lot of mess in the way we play and the way we understand our interactions in this hobby. All right, thank you very much, and let me know what you guys think. All right, talk to you soon. Oh, and remember, these two videos, like I say, I way prefer the narrated reality to be created approach. But I would love, I mentioned it earlier, I would love, so now I'm talking about this, but I would love playing a module game. I would love to go through Call of Cthulhu Tomb of, I don't know how to say it, because it's like, it's a classic experience that is already written. I will love that shit, because I will be entertained by someone who's read the module, who's gonna bring me like, boom, like he's gonna throw stuff back at me. He's gonna push me in the corner. I'm gonna have to react. I'm gonna have to ask him, okay, this and that. I'm gonna use my skill, and it's irrelevant. It's completely different kind of gaming. And it's like, and so when we agree upon going into that environment, it's different approach. And so it depends on what you want to do, and it depends on the kind of intention you bring forth. Obviously, as a social contract is made for. Anyway, thank you for watching, but I just wanted to make it clear that this is theory stuff. All right, talk to you soon.